Hi. Joke.
Until every few weeks, maybe a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, something, and we'll meet up and we'll go get food, or we can, like soon we're going to a snooker hall, and so it can be like anything you want, and we just talk about how we're getting on with our faith and just our lives in general.
We go out to McDonald's or we go to Costa and we have a drink and something to eat, and then we just talk about like what we've been doing during the week and how the week's gone and what we've encountered in our Christian life that week.
Well, we go out once every other week and we go out and get some food, and we just have a chat about life in general, how everything's going.
My experience of mentoring is both as a mentor and as someone being mentored. So I have a mentor who we meet regularly. He asks me questions about life, and it's an opportunity, it's space for me to be able to dialogue with someone who's a little bit further on in his journey and his walk with God, in his life experience, and I can talk about pretty much anything that's going on for me, anything that I have questions about, anything that I feel like I don't have the answers for. I'm able to bring that up and chat through that kind of stuff, and he's very patient in listening to where I'm at, but also then offering to give advice if I want it, or tell me where to find help, and that kind of stuff. So that's, for me, that's really, really helpful. My mentor is another church leader in my town as well, so when I need, when I've got questions about leadership, even my role as an officer, being able to talk with someone who's been in ministry, who's been leading a church for longer than me is really helpful, not just for my own benefit, but also for my ministry. I'm also a mentor to a young guy, and it's been a joy for me, really, to watch how he has developed, and how, as I've been privileged to journey with him over the past few years, how as we've met up regularly over that time, how week on week or month on month we seem to be shaping something new in him and bringing him along in his spiritual journey. And we've read books together, we've chatted through the stuff that's going on in his life, we've prayed together. I pray for him and he prays for me every time we meet, and it's a real privilege for me to be able to journey with him through his spiritual development and into maturity.
Mentoring works as a fortnightly activity between a youngster and a youth leader or a soldier, anyone within the Salvation Army. So you'll meet every 2 weeks, and your mentor will talk to you about life, how you're doing, and any distinguished things that have happened.
My experience with mentoring is that it's been a positive two-way relationship. I've often find that in the same way that we can teach and help young people develop, they keep us in tune with what the culture is saying, in tune with what society is saying, and often even bring fresh insights into God's Word, very often. It's a really exciting two-way relationship.
I would recommend mentoring because it gives a different element to your everyday life. You know, you have your friends, you have your teachers at school, but having a mentor, it's more of a one-on-one experience, and it's much more personal, and
It's nice to have someone to talk to about anything and whatever.
So I would recommend mentoring to anybody who wants to have someone to partner in the gospel with, but I'd especially recommend it to people who don't enjoy large, big occasions or big social events or larger youth groups, who prefer one-on-one relationships, who feel like they can get more out of life when they talk to someone individually, perhaps people who are quieter, who just really feel that when they speak to someone one-on-one, that's when they get the most out of reading the Bible, because this is perfect for them.
because it's a good way to get close to other Christian people, and they can like reflect their influences on us and help us with our Christian pathway.
I think it's a great idea to have a mentor because it's someone that you can meet with and look up to, and someone you can trust to chat through the things that you're thinking of, maybe things you're struggling with your faith or questions you have about the Bible or being a Christian where you are.
I recommend mentoring because it's just a good relationship to have with someone. So it's always nice to know that you like have someone that you can talk to and you can tell anything, and like you can be open with them, but they're not going to tell anyone what you say to them. So it's just like that relationship with someone. Like sometimes it's just good to get things off your chest, and a mentor is a good way to like do this.
So now more than ever, I'm convinced that mentoring is key to the way we move forward, because I know that young people are in need, young people are under pressure, and it's a constant pressure. Things like the internet, so on. It's just changed the dynamic. And in the same way that our young people need our help through that, we also need their help through that because they understand this culture. So I'm convinced that mentoring is essential right now.
One of the things that I find really exciting about mentoring from a scriptural point of view is that Paul's the mentor to Timothy, and he writes to Timothy and he says, "What you have heard me said in the presence of many witnesses, pass that on to reliable people who will teach others." So there's this mentoring relationship where Paul's instructions are taught to Timothy, who teaches it to reliable people who then teach others. There's these kind of generations of people all receiving the benefit of Paul's teaching, of Paul's mentoring, but sweeping through. And I think there's a real clear mandate for this to be part of our strategy for discipleship for ourselves, but also for a broken world that desperately needs to know Jesus. That kind of discipleship where there's generations where more and more people are being discipled, that leads to exponential growth. And I really believe that that's a key to seeing discipleship really be a key part of Christian life in our churches, but also being a real key to unlocking revival for the nations.
And as we see this renewal, this restructuring of mentoring, I'm convinced that behind that comes a spirit of revival, and God will break out in the church, through the church, into the world. It's going to be awesome.